presentation I'm going to give is really trying to thread everything that we've all kind of learned today. So I want to talk about, the power of storytelling, the significance of empathy, why it's so important to be really inclusive in the way that we market to the marketplace and how we tell those diverse stories and lived experiences. And then also, how can we really align our financial goals with our business purpose? And then ultimately, how can we achieve what I like to call work-life harmony instead of work-life balance? And just how do you merge all of those things and those threads of what we learned today and go out there and again, live in our purpose?
Where I was under Rick, I'm not able to advance. So I'm a big believer in accountability, another one of my values. And I reached out to Rick, I humbly reached out to Rick and I said, hey, would you be willing to meet with me for lunch? I think I might be the common denominator in my inability to advance, and I could really use your guidance. So he met with me for lunch, and he said, all right, so tell me what it's like a day in the life of Tasha. And so I go through this list of all these tasks that I do. And Rick goes, okay, that's good. Do you speak up in meetings? I'm like, Rick, I take great notes. And Rick was like, oh, okay. I was like, I do what I'm told. He's like, hey, listen, I think that's great. Everyone needs a doer, right? But you're telling me that you want to advance. And if you're seen as the note taker, you're not seen as the person who's contributing strategic ideas. And so here's what I need you to do. I need you to always be at the ready with 3 things that you are proud of that you are doing for your company. 3 projects. He reminded me, he's like, remember this one project you did at Prologis? So the C-suite executives are still talking about that project. Imagine if you had mentioned that at the water cooler when you ran into the CFO, and he would have always remembered that from you. He said, so what you're doing by always having one of your top projects is they remember you. So every time they see you, they remember hey, what's your name? Lydia. Not Lydia. She's got something. I remember she told me about this project. And then now I see you again. Lydia, how's that project going? He's like, see, I knew it. I want to hear more about it. Let's do coffee, right? So, but that was what he was trying to get me in the habit of doing, get noticed by always being ready to tell a story about one of the 3 things that I'm so proud of. And then he also talked about make sure that you, when you're in a meeting and you're always ready to contribute a really big idea that's contributing to the bottom line, that's contributing to the end goal of the business. And just the story in that for me was, so I need to just make sure, I'd be really nervous at first, so I'd write down, what's my story? What am I trying to say? So I'd write down in a little upper right-hand corner, these are the things I'm gonna say. So that over time, I would build my confidence in presenting a story, a case for why I want to contribute this idea. And I forgot the 3rd thing Rick said, but my point is that when we are able to tell story about what we're most proud of in our business, that's the thing that helps us authentically connect with our leadership, with our colleagues, our coworkers, our customers. And I think that when we hone in and we are able to tell our story with authenticity, that exudes confidence. And in my mind, confidence always wins. Now I want to tell you something. Another thing that I think needs to win? Anybody want to venture to guess? You don't have to, but I'm opening it to the room. Here's what I think needs to win. I think humanity needs to win. I hear a lot of talk about, and we've all probably heard it, some might be in this position, and that's just the world we're in right now, but statements that say DEI is dead. DEI is dumb. And so for me, when I hear that, I get really concerned. I get concerned that the pendulum could swing so far and so strongly against this idea of embracing diversity. And that's concerning to me, because I think there's humanity in diversity. There's humanity in storytelling. There's humanity in diverse lived experiences. And so this idea of being thoughtful about how we tell story that's inclusive of all identities, neurodivergent included. Tiffany, I heard you. That's what helps build connection. And so, I don't know if anyone's ever heard of like the Fenty line. Rihanna's Fenty. Any Rihanna fans in the room? Yes, woo! Right? Yeah, Fenty makeup. And so, if you've ever seen the Fenty makeup, if you've ever ventured to like look at any of that branding, the ads, you know, they were very intentional. And I encourage you to do so after today, is just check it out. And if you're really bold, go to Amazon Prime and watch one of the fashion shows. You'll see what I'm talking about. But what was really interesting about like their effort, that they were like, exclude no one. Exclude no one. And they wanted to make sure that the values of inclusion inform their process. And so as they're looking to be inclusive, one of the things that their former marketing director said, she's like, we gotta share authentic stories. We gotta show people. We gotta show them that they can see themselves regardless of their identity, their culture, their religion, their race, their size, their age. We want them to feel seen in this brand. And so this idea of storytelling and being inclusive and embracing that inclusivity, it's the way that we can build connection, because again, there's humanity in diversity. There's humanity in inclusion. And I think that at the end, it's this celebration of representation that can really, really, I don't know, I think it can help build human connection. And the other thing that I think can build human connection is when we lead with empathy. I think I heard a couple speakers mention that. Leading with empathy. I certainly remember, gosh, Ale said it. Leading with empathy. And what I mean by empathy, I mean listening to understand. You do not have to know, like, firsthand what that person's experience was, but it's holding space to say, I will sit with you. What's your name? McKenna. I will sit with you, McKenna, and I will listen. And I will make an effort to like understand you and to hear you. And so having that empathy is what builds connection. And so it also has the ability to inspire people on your team. So I'm going to tell you about a book. It's by Shauna Core, and it's called Big Potential. Big Potential, write it down, Shauna Core. And so what's really great about this is that he mentions the story about a cellist. And the cellist for the Boston Philharmonic, not too shabby, right? Boston Philharmonic, kind of big deal, so when you make it as a musician on the Boston Philharmonic, it's a big deal. And this cellist was 11th chair. He was feeling really insecure about being the 11th chair. And so she's being kind of needy. And one day, the conductor was talking with her, and she was just kind of like, just the 11th chair. I was like, well, share your ideas. We've got this performance coming up. This is the concerto we want to play. What are your ideas? So this 11th chair gave her ideas, and they go on to that performance. And while they're playing, she notices that he's incorporated her ideas. And so in the case of Rick Roth, what he was sharing with me, he was like, always be at the ready with your first chair idea, girl. Always be at the ready with your first chair idea. And I think that this idea of empathy, like the impact of empathetic leadership, not only does it like build this loyalty and this engagement, but it lifts a team. People start contributing more. You inspire them to contribute their ideas. And in the end, everybody wins. It's great for the organization. In the instance of that performance, that Boston Philharmonic performance, those changes were met with rave reviews by audiences. So always be ready to share your first chair ideas. All right, this one's a big one. I'm gonna have a little confession time, right? How many of you have heard that idea of empowered women empower women? You like that? Exactly, me too. But with a caveat, I have a confession, with a caveat. I consider myself a kind, empowered woman who empowers kind women. Essentially what I'm saying is if you're mean, nothing to see here, right? Nothing to see here, okay? Ultimately, I want to thank you. I know, may you all go live in your purpose and may you lift up others to live in their purpose just as well. Thank you.